We were feeding a lot. They were never satisfied. And they said, well, we have to do something because what we're doing is not working. We were saving $5,000 a month after we switched to Rio. JR Crozier, Purdy Ranch, Buffalo, Wyoming. We are a cow-calf producer. We run Corriente cows bred to horned Hereford bulls. We'd fed some tubs, we'd fed the tubs, we'd fed some tubs. Our cattle always seemed unsatisfied. They were on like a 25-pound a day ration between hay and hay cubes with peas for some extra protein, and they were never satisfied. Jim and Matt, who own the ranch, we talked a lot, and they said, well, we have to do something because what we're doing is not working. Started doing some research, found the Rio tubs. They were willing to bite the bullet and step up. Yeah, it was a lot, but it didn't take long to where we saw pretty significant difference, not only in their consumption, but how they looked, their hair looked. January and February, when it's tough to make cattle look good, our cattle seemed to look amazing. And with the Rio tub, we went from feeding, like I said, 25 pounds to slowly backing it down every week. Within a month, we were at 20 pounds of hay, 18 to 20 pounds of hay, depending on what Mother Nature said. Cows always left a little, but they were shiny and they were satisfied. They would go eat, get a drink of water, and go lay down. We started on Riomax when we had the Black Angus cattle, and they were probably 1,300 pound Black Angus range cows. Winter, spring, didn't matter what. Our cattle stayed at right at a quarter pound. I mean, and they've been on it consistently. When we switched cows and went to the Corriente cows, we had to do a little bit of penciling, but we figured it would be right around 1/8 of a pound. And those cattle have stayed at 1/8 of a pound every day. Whether we have them on the mountain at 8,000 feet or we have them down here in the meadows, and whether we use the 360 tub in the summer or the Forage Master in the winter, those cattle are right at 1/8 of a pound. We feed to the bare minimum, like 10 or 12 pounds a day to a Corriente cow, and they look good, they maintain, and otherwise we'd probably have to feed 15 pounds. Let's say we have to feed a Corriente cow 15 pounds plus grazing, and if I'm being able to feed her 10 to 12 pounds for 110 days at, whatever the cost of hay is, it doesn't take very long. That tub's paid for, just strictly in a hay savings. In January, when we put them on the tub, we banged those heifers. They weighed 585 pounds. And so we started feeding them about 8 pounds of hay, plus whatever they could pick, which was not much. About 1st of April, I took the hay away from them, left them on the Forage Master, and fed them 5 pounds of hay cubes. When we got those heifers in May to breed, they weighed 750 pounds. We bred them, synchronized them, did the AI program, left the bull in for 45 days, preg checked those heifers. We had a 93% breed up. 80% of those were AI bred. To me, that's pretty tough to beat. We kind of stressed them a little bit to see, but the tub did its part and made those heifers. It doesn't replace genetics, it's not the silver bullet, but when you can enhance them, it makes a big difference. It was pretty simple for us to realize that was probably the right tub. Before we started on Rio, I think we were like in the 90% conception rate, but even with the black cows and switching to the Corriente cows in a 45-day window, we're at that 93, 94% and have been pretty consistent. We run on a pretty skeleton crew around here, and it's worth a lot when you know that you're going to be done in a pretty timely manner. It adds consistency to the calves, which helps in the marketing standpoint because you have a lot more uniform set of cattle to market. We would wean a 550-pound steer calf maybe in October, calving in March. When we started on Rio, we backed our calving days up to an April 1st calf, and actually we were weaning those calves in the middle of September, and those steer calves were weighing 515 pounds on an average. I guess we shortened everything up, and I would say I would wean a bigger calf in October. And the only thing we really changed on this operation at that point had been Riomax. We put the tubs out for them when we wean, and they go right to it, which helps with all the stress and all the goodies that come along with weaning. Knock on wood, we haven't had pink eye, we haven't had foot rot. We run high elevation, so we have some illnesses that nothing you can do about it. You just have to deal with it. But overall health, our cattle stay pretty consistent. We don't have the scours, we don't have some of that stuff in the spring when it's wet and cold, and I think it just helps all the way around. We're year round, and we still are on Riomax year round. Having the Riomax on a year round program, I guess it's kind of like putting gas in a car. Your car only runs so long on a tank of gas if you don't keep it full. I think a cow, you gain some maybe on a little bit, but you're always playing catch up. But when you look at the summer savings, or maybe your grass in a pasture lasts 10 or 15 days longer than it would have, when you can save feed, a dry matter intake and your cattle look the same or look better, pretty tough to argue with. I've had to quit looking at it by the ton price, and I break it down on a daily input. And for what ours is, you can't beat it for an input cost. I mean, even probably $1,000 a ton more now than what it was when we started, but we can still make it justifiable penciling when you put it to a daily cost. I mean, it's still one of the cheapest things you can put into your cow daily, we feel like. And just the feed savings alone, I mean, like I said, the first year we did it, we were saving $5,000 a month after we switched to Rio. I mean, $5,000 a month savings in a feed cost for any cow operation, to me, seems pretty good proof that it works.